Shogun 2's campaign game features a large number of advancements and changes over previous Total War games, and this is an era that we've only recently started to talk about and explore a little bit. In terms of the actual campaign game itself, one of the major changes for the actual overall visual aspect is this unique combination of 2D and 3D artwork. And this is a first for a Total War game, and we've done this for a couple of reasons. The first is that when you take a look at the map, each of the 10 clans that you can choose to play start with just one region under their control. And by rendering that one region in 3D and all other unexplored areas in 2D, you don't get a sense of a huge, overwhelming kind of world space to try and conquer. It adds a sense of kind of mystery and immersion as well. And finally, it's a nice little nod back to the original Shogun, which we created all of 10 years ago, which of course all took place on this kind of 2D cartography style map. So it does a number of different things for us. The map of Japan is very, very large. We've got a large number of different regions in it. It expands out across all of the Japanese islands, and they kind of sit for yours to conquer, as it were. Now, of course, all of the traditional sort of like settlement building, tax raising and farming takes place on the Shogun 2's kind of campaign map. And there are a number of kind of unique differences and changes there as well.
Although I greet death, I do not fear the icy grip.
So for players who are new to Total War games, it is a unique combination of real-time and turn-based strategy. On the campaign map, not unlike, say, a game like Risk or Civilization, you take your turns as one of the major clans of the period. You administer your empire, you grow out, you build your armies, you tax your people, and you construct new settlements and new buildings and the like. And then, of course, when two armies meet on the campaign map, it zooms down and you then fight that battle in real time. And different to other real-time kind of battles, say something like StarCraft or indeed Command & Conquer, the real-time battles in Shogun 2, of course, don't feature any resource gathering or base building. It's all about managing the army that you take to the battlefield, and that's it. So the real emphasis there is on strategy and kind of the combat. So that's what makes it very, very different. The campaign map also features a large number of different agent types. And all of these have unique special functions that they perform on the campaign map for you. So you will have command of geishas, ninjas, monks, metsuke, and all of these, and generals of course, who lead your armies, and all of these have unique functions and unique things that they can do. Essentially, the big principle behind Shogun 2 is to simplify and balance the game. So every agent has an equal and opposite. So everything they do, there is a counter agent that does something in defense of that. So for example, the ninja's an obvious one. The ninja is an assassin. And it's the ninja's job to go out kind of under subterfuge and infiltration, get into an enemy camp or an enemy army, and destroy an enemy general, and or enemy political figure, whoever you see fit. The ninja's opposite is a character called a metsuke, which is kind of a secret policeman type agent. And his whole job is to find and reveal enemy ninjas and assassins, and then arrest or execute them. And he gets rid of them on the campaign side. The other thing that we've changed, of course, on the campaign map is we now have a full 4-season kind of campaign turns set of actual seasons on the campaign map. So previously we've had spring, summer / autumn, winter turns. But now we actually have a full 4-season model, so you have a full spring, full summer, a full autumn and a full winter. Now what that does is, of course, it affects like the microeconomics of the game, so stuff like the harvests and everything you get, the resources and that sort of stuff, and taxation. But most critically, of course, it affects the battlefields that you fight on. Fighting somewhere in winter and fighting on exactly the same location in the summer are two very different experiences. They have unique differences on the troops and everything else, as we've previously spoken about, and they'll also do a variety of different things to the factions themselves, and all of these, as I say, figure into the game. And in addition to that, we've got some nice different kind of seasonal effects for lighting and everything else, and it makes things look really nice. Now there are kind of two major tiers, or three I suppose, to the units in Shogun 2, when you're raising armies that you then use on the battlefield. So your first tier of units are like Ashigaru, they're peasants. They're available right from the start, you can recruit them at almost any of your settlements, and essentially they're untrained kind of light infantry, as it were. They're willing amateurs. On the other hand, of course, you then later on, as you build up your dojos and increase your kind of campaign map buildings and the like, get access to samurai. Samurai, of course, are much more professional warriors, better bonuses on the battlefield and so forth. And finally, if you build all the way to the top of the tech trees, you get access to legendary dojos. And these give you access to what we call hero units. And they are masters of a martial arts style. So they may well be, say, a sword master or a spear master. And on the battlefield, they will appear as a single unit surrounded by a small number of kind of retainers or, you know, disciples, as it were. And they fight very, very well when used properly.
Without skill. But even so, these foreigners and their guns could give a man power and victory.
Shogun 2 features a brand new RPG system for all the characters, and this is something that is absolutely, you know, like I say, a new invention from previous Total War games. Every action the character performs gives the character XP, and each character type, generals, Metsuke, monks, ninjas, geishas, all have unique skill trees in the game. You can then spend those XP points on upgrades to the character. Broadly speaking, each character type has two major kind of career paths, as it were. A ninja's a good example. They have a path that takes them down the road of kind of espionage and spying, or a path that takes them down the road of assassination and murder. And you can upgrade either or. So when you choose to take them down one route, it's mutually exclusive. You say, right, I'm going down the assassin route with this ninja, and within that, I'm going to choose the following options. And that builds a ninja that, you know, that you need at that time. What we're trying to do by doing that is make the characters a lot more personal and a lot more kind of essential, so that players create characters that they use on the campaign map, and it is a pain in the ass if they get killed, right? And they are useful for certain things. It also makes each one important and unique. If you lose a general in battle, you don't just go, oh, whatever, I'll buy another one and chuck him in, because that could have been your siege general or your cavalry general, or, you know, however else you've created them. That's brand new for Shogun 2, and it features, you know, very much along the kind of duality lines of the game, the yin and yang sense of balance. So that sense whereby on the technology tree, for example, on the campaign map, you have Bushido technologies for war, and you have Chi technologies for society. And again, you can choose which way down those you go, looking again for a sense of harmony and balance. So this idea, this principle of kind of like balance and, you know, backward and forward is pretty much throughout the game. And if you go too far one way, you'll be extremely weak in another dimension. So the idea is that as a player, you need to think about those things.